Welcome in the latest episode of the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast, presented to you by the Betting the Pitch Podcast Network. We are a triumvirate tonight, getting ready for another trip to a Final Four. Hopefully, just as fun as San Antonio. Indianapolis coming up real soon. As you can see over my shoulder, the road ends here. That's from Phoenix, or not really Phoenix, but anyway, we're gonna go through the biggest games in the college basketball card this weekend. We decided to bring in at A Brooks Betts, longtime listener, subscriber, friend of the show, and maybe we'll do a baseball podcast this year. I don't know. We'll see if he actually decides to stop playing with his dog for a second. A Brooks Betts, update us how you've done, how you've been, how's life, what have you been missing out on? It sounds like you were down in Florida. I can see it all over your face. And welcome, Big East Ben. He's drinking again.
Yep. Well, I'll be there with you, Ben. But I got my Stadium Series Cup in Florida. I went to Gainesville for the Alabama-Florida game. That was awesome. I saw Chinyelu dominate all the guards on the pick and rolls that they didn't stop running and switching. And it was a dominant defensive performance by a player like that I have seen in a long time. That was fun. It was
Other than who?
other than who? I mean, KD. Kevin
Yeah,
Durant.
A Brooks sent me the box score from Kevin Durant beating
Yeah.
Texas A&M
Double
in
OT. I was in the
2007, was
nosebleeds.
it?
Yep, freshman year.
Yeah, and I said congrats on beating Tarleton State's
Yeah.
head coach. I did a little digging into Tarleton State just because I was curious about how Gillespie was doing that there. They have one of the most misleading Ken Pom stats I've ever seen. They're number one in the country in forcing turnovers. Number one.
Hell yeah.
They're 351st in the country at turning the ball over. I filtered on conference only. They're third in the conference in turnover rate. 351st in the country turning the ball over. Third in the country. Third in their own conference. No one in the Western Athletic Conference knows how to dribble the basketball.
You know what that sounds like to me?
Incredible.
Enough chat of the Western Athletic Conference. We're going to go through some of the biggest games on our card. We have two top four matchups. Before we get into them, which one are you more excited for? Duke, Michigan, or Arizona at Houston?
I
We'll
think
start
I'll
with
take
you. Yeah, we'll
I
start
think
with
it's Duke,
Abrams
Michigan.
bets.
I think it's Duke, Michigan. It's a neutral floor. I hate that Koa Pete's out for Arizona. So it's on the road at Houston. We'll talk about that later, but that's going to be a tough one, and they're not at full strength.
Big East Ben?
I'll take Arizona, Houston. The line for Michigan Duke came out on FanDuel like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, Duke is underdogs at Cameron, and I did not hit the hammer button and did not do my due diligence.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when
Yeah.
they start allowing you to use emojis for your bets. That's always a good sign. So like we all talked about, we're gonna go through two of the biggest matchups on our, I guess, the entire season, pretty much, all taking place on the same day. Good for us. Good for the college basketball fan. We'll try to find some winners, some best bets coming out of the show. Big East Ben, you're 3-1 since we came to YouTube. What do you think the change has done for you?
The change
Yeah, the change of venue.
of being, I don't know. I'm independent. I don't have the corporate shackles on me that are clouding my judgment.
There we go. Okay, so we'll find some games to talk about. We'll start Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Right now, Vanderbilt 3-point favorites as we're gonna build some interest in the bigger games coming up. Vanderbilt 3-point favorites, totals 149 and a half. Big East Ben, we'll start with you. What would you have done to have an actual competitive Vanderbilt Tennessee game while we were still in school there?
We did have one. We went to one, and Grant Williams made 26 consecutive free throws, and Tennessee won in overtime as the number one team in the country
What do you think
against
Vandy was what do you think the spread was in that matchup?
bordering on 20, I
I
believe.
mean, we saw the worst couple years of Vanderbilt Athletic, which is saying something for that program in a long time. But
Well, I
yeah,
was going
there's
to have a question that leads into my question.
go
Is this
ahead.
a home court advantage for Vanderbilt tomorrow at Vandy with Tennessee, the in-state rival?
Yes, I mean they beat them there last year, and it was all Vandy.
All right.
I think he's talking about the crowd here though. Vanderbilt, nice.
Well, no, I'm saying the crowd environment last
Yeah.
year, I feel like was heavily skewed Vandy.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, as it should in that arena,
Right.
but there's going to be a lot of
You never
orange in
know.
there, to say the least.
Well, Vandy wasn't good for a while, and now they're good, and there's a bunch of Tennessee fans, and Rick Barnes has them whatever they've been of the last 10 years, 6 years.
How do
You know,
you
I
how do
didn't
you
know if it
feel
was
about
going to
Rick Barnes?
overspill in there. Knoxville was going to come crashing Nashville. Who knows?
How do you feel about Rick Barnes at this point of your life, A. Brooks Betts?
Well, based on Texas's run of coaches, I mean, until now, I feel pretty good about Sean Miller, but wish we had him the last 6 years.
Yeah, he's
I'm
he's
a I'm,
done.
I'm a lifer though. I wish we still had Mac Brown. So until the last one, it's a lot of pain in between two good coaches that we might have found now in Sark and Miller.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Jury's still out on that football guy. But Tennessee 88-83 winners on January 23rd, 2019. 41 points for Grant Williams, as mentioned. 23 out of 23 from the line, as B's been said. You want to guess
Celtics
Vanderbilt?
legend.
You want to guess Vanderbilt's SEC record entering that game?
0-15.
Abrams Betts
Like,
not making a guess, I guess. Okay.
no, I
Oh,
don't know.
0-5. 0-5. So that was 0-6.
Oh, that was earlier in
Good.
the season.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But they
yeah.
would go
Yeah.
on to be 0-18. That was the Darius Garland season, right?
There we go.
Where he
Yes.
played 2 games.
What a great year for him, for them, for us, for everybody. Okay, so let's get into the game. Big East Ben, give us a breakdown. Tennessee 3-point dogs on the road at Vanderbilt. That does feel like the biggest we've seen Tennessee as a dog in this series in a long time.
I've spoken about this at length. Vanderbilt, great team, great offense, but finesse bitch team. They take care of other finesse bitch teams. Auburn, win. Alabama, win. SMU, win. I'm putting Kentucky in the finesse bitch category without Quaintance. Win. They struggle against physical teams. They went to overtime against a really crappy Memphis team that we're learning. I don't know if anyone caught the game last night. I think they lost to South Florida by 30. They went to overtime to Memphis. They got beat on their home floor by Florida, and that was kind of the start. That was before Florida entered back into the national title conversation, kind of kickstarted that. Lost to Arkansas in Bud Walton, and then lost to Missouri on the road. 1 point loss, but Missouri was up by 20 points with 7 minutes left. They made a crazy comeback. Tennessee fits right into that physical category. Vanderbilt, this terrible matchup for Vanderbilt. I think there's a revenge factor here. I'm going to back the Vols on the road.
Abrams Betts, how about you?
I concur. It's almost like we did our prep together. My note is that Tennessee's going to beat them up. I mean, Tennessee's big and Vanderbilt's small. Last time I checked, being big is better than being small in basketball, at least height-wise.
Well, I'm
The
gonna.
best offensive rebounding team in the country, Tennessee is. I just see some real energy. It's a prime time. I mean, this whole Saturday, it's all football's over, man. It's March. I can smell it. The days are getting longer. We're here. We're back.
We're back. I'm gonna go Vanderbilt -3, fading both of you idiots. But actually, just because I think Vanderbilt, yes, you can argue about the finesse stuff. That's certainly a thing. I think we see a big showing out of the crowd. We'll see really how many orange shirts there are in that building, which does scare me a fair amount. I also don't know that we're going to see this close 3. Of course, that's what we're using for right now, but I feel like we'll see some Tennessee money come in because everyone does love to bet Rick Barnes with a +3 next to his name. Move next to, I guess we'll go to one of the bigger games on this list. Let's go to Michigan and Duke. This is a little bit later in the slate. Michigan 2.5-point favorites, totals 150. Big East Ben, tell us where this game's being played. I know people like to know that.
Capital One Arena, I assume.
DC.
DC.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. We'll start with
Capital
Abrams
of North
Betts.
Carolina, Washington, D.C. Bingo.
Castle, North Carolina. I don't know the reference, but if you're making one, say it, and then you get
Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby.
There we go. Okay, thank you. If you're not first, you're last, and don't put that evil on me. Abrams Betts, you start us off with Michigan 2.5-point favorites in a neutral site, which I think will probably skew a little bit Duke to me.
Seems like it would. Michigan's got an all-time team. I mean, if they didn't lose to Wisconsin, what would we be talking about? You know, I mean, this is here's my thought. I'm going to take Duke in the points because they're getting points. Boozer's the player of the year. If you think Michigan's going to win, there's a thought that you could bet a little Lindeberg here for player of the year, who's 150 to 1 right now. If he shows up in prime time and the voters pay attention. If you want to go that way, I don't mind sprinkling a little player of the year action if your state allows. And
mine does not. Keep going.
But mine doesn't either, but I'm gonna take the points and Duke. I just think consistent. They're kind of flying under the radar, I feel like a little bit. This year with the top 10 teams kind of all seemingly everybody groups them together. I think Michigan is They played great, but I'm taking points with Dukies.
Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean Brooks has a good point. If that with other than that Wisconsin loss, the only time we've seen some vulnerability from Michigan. Well, actually, there was kind of two occasions. They were in a dogfight at Penn State, and then they were down by 14 at the half to Northwestern, and still almost covered the 15-point spread. And if you thought, that was maybe the start of some downward trajectory, they then embarrassed Mick Cronin, which is pretty easy to do these days, and then absolutely eviscerated Purdue.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Kudos. Stupidest question I have ever been asked.
He's been asked a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Kudos.
I mean, non-conference, Duke has beaten Michigan State, Kansas, Arkansas, and Florida. I mean, so they've been scheduling these tough opponents out of conference. This happens to hit a home run. You were talking about last week, the middle of the season non-conference opponents and where that come from and how did it start. But here we are with number 1 and number 2. It's going to be a good game, and I'm glad it's here, I guess. It's kind of like interleague in baseball where it just shows up and you don't know why or how, or at least back in the old days. Now it's everywhere, sprinkled throughout. But yeah, I mean, what a game. I'm excited to see it. I think Duke's been tested non-conference and even in the conference. I think the ACC's elevated enough that they'll be ready.
Yeah,
we're all taking Duke.
Unbelievable front courts. I mean the Boozer, Yaxel, ass isn't even in my vocabulary. Lindenberg, and it's going to be a battle. Two things, two very good teams, equally talented. Two factors I think are in Michigan's favor. One is the level of experience. I mean, all these guys have been in college basketball for 4 years. Mara, Lendenberg, Cadeau have played in way more games than the Duke freshmen. And then I still don't trust John Shire in close games. I'll take Dusty May any day of the week. I hope I'm wrong because I already put it in, but I'm going to take Michigan here.
All right. Nothing like the emotional hedge. So we're not all going Duke, actually. So Ben will go Michigan -2.5. Brooks and I will take Duke and the points. A lot just because I think on a neutral floor, I don't really want the favorite necessarily against two really good teams. I do think Michigan looks like the better one, and hard to argue with what they did to Purdue on the road on Tuesday night. That was very dominant. And even though it kind of got closer late, we've seen that kind of issue with Michigan. And I think to your point about Jax Lingenberg and potentially winning MVP, MOP, Naismith, whatever we're calling it, my concern is that there's so much on that team that you spread around. And I honestly didn't think they could ever survive with playing Jax Lindenberg at the 3 with Montrez or Morel, whatever Walker. What's this?
Morez Johnson.
Morez Johnson.
Montrez Harrell, who played for Louisville.
Yeah, Montrez Harrell. God, I'll never forget that name. Yeah, Morez Walker, and then Morez what? Say it again.
Morez Johnson.
Morez
God
Johnson.
damn it.
Ouch. And then Big Z over there. Just kidding. No. But yeah, to me, I think. I mean, watching Lendenborg guard the point guard, and press him for 93, 94 feet at whatever Jay Bilas says all the time, was incredible. And that player at UAB, I'm sad they didn't really do much in conference play or tournament time last year, but man, they're good. I guess I'm talking myself more into Michigan the more I talk about it. So we'll move on to the next game. And we'll go to Arizona at Houston because we might as well get there now. Houston, 4.5-point favorites at home, totals 142, coming off of an incredible electric game with Iowa State, which I was able to watch on YouTube. Thank you, ESPN, for not even having it up there to watch within 23 hours. Love you for that, especially for how much you charge me every year. What do we got? We'll start with Big East Ben on the Arizona side of things, especially if Koa Pete's out.
Yeah, that was big news. I didn't know that. Thank you.
He basically didn't play the entire second half against Texas Tech, it seemed to me, if I remember correctly.
Correct. And he missed the game this week, too.
He did not play against the Saunderless Cougars.
Correct. It's a lower calf injury. They're kind of going long haul. I think he'll be back, but he's definitely out tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, they're so deep, though. I mean, Koa Pete, it's not like he adds a dimension that they don't have. We know Arizona, they don't shoot threes, and just they're loaded in the front court. It's tough to fade Houston at home, especially coming off a bullshit loss against Iowa State, where they would have had that game. They called a kickball on Houston that led to Iowa State 3 and racing a
But you can
10-point.
challenge that, Ben. You can challenge that.
Dude, don't even get me started with like the challenge bullshit and
That's what this
like
podcast is for.
the
Get started.
goaltend stuff and like there needs to be it. Oh, dude, like I thought the challenges would be like because I fucking hate when like last
There's an
year,
F-bomb. There we go.
like the last 5 years when when the players would be like, yeah, circle up outside of 2 minutes. Like, you morons, how many games have you played where you realize you can't challenge the out of bounds call and do the stupid circle? Now they're doing it with like foul plays, which you can't like. There's no these guys. I don't know. I just hate the bitching and whining and asking people to do stuff. And don't even get me started when they're asking to like challenge a play in the first 5 minutes of the game when it's like the score is like 8-6.
You
Just
sound like my dad. My dad would say, like, all the players asking their defense to get loud or whatever. He's like, how dare you ask your own crowd? If they're not going to get loud without you asking, then you shouldn't be asking. He hated that. I love that. That reminded me of the gestures. Just really,
yeah.
don't sit well with you.
All right, R.I.P. Big Frank. I know you're smiling, watching down on this. I'll and probably smoking some butt right now. Is what he's doing. Is my guess. That's a barbecue reference, Ben. Just in case, and for the rest of the people out there. Yeah. So I just like that they get two challenges, and if you win the first one, you only get a second. So like you might as well just not even use that first one until forever. I thought. I mean that. Iowa State Houston game was awesome. Honestly, went from Iowa State's going to run them out of the gym to all of a sudden they were down 11 points in the second half. To me, it's a lot about crowds, and I think we're talking about in this matchup. Brooks, I think you could probably agree with me that Arizona is not necessarily that deep. So I think the Koa Pete loss is really significant.
Yeah.
What do you think?
They run 8, so now they're down to 7.
That's
Houston
a lot.
runs
That's
10.
a big deal.
Yeah. Also, Arizona uses the foul game. Like on paper, this foul discrepancy. I know you like the home whistle angle a lot, Griffin. It's so big on paper, it's hard to ignore. But it is at Houston, so maybe they do get a home whistle. They play very physical. Houston's never good at not fouling. They haven't been in the last 5 years, so that's not even alarming for them. That's just how they play. Really physical, really good. If any team gets into foul trouble, I could see that. You know, obviously that's going to be a big part of this game. How this game is being called early, will be very interesting to watch. Houston's only average at cleaning the glass. So if you want to go, on the court and not talk about the refs, Arizona's really good at rebounding and preventing offensive rebounds. Houston's only average, so I could see that maybe. I kind of like the over here. 5.5 is a lot. That's the number we're playing with, right?
4.5.
I like Houston money line a lot.
4.5.
4.5. It's a little better, but I like Houston money line if you want to tease it or parlay it or whatever. If you don't want to do the minus,
We don't take money lines on the show.
All right. Well, I'm taking Houston.
Well, I mean, we also, people kind of make their own rules. We did have, I guess, to be fair to Marquette Warrior 84, he came on and he went and just faded Wisconsin because he hates them. And it worked. And he's 1-0 and forever. It doesn't seem to be coming back on the show anytime soon, retiring 100%. We'll see what happens with A. Brooks Betts and his best bet coming up end of show. But to me, I think 8 deep now is 7 deep. I think the strategy here for me with Arizona is they're probably playing a really slow paced game to try to keep the team as together as possible. Foul trouble will be a big problem. I don't expect a lot of it. Though literally in Hilton at Ames on Monday night, like the amount of just like two-handed pushes that weren't called as fouls was unbelievable to me. But I guess that's just something you do when you have the best teams in basketball, and it's a preview for what we're going to see in the NCAA tournament coming up. I just feel like Arizona with 7 bodies potentially, and I think when you really want to exploit Houston, it's by pulling out one of those big guys from the rim, potentially shooting on them. Now Arizona's going to go Krivas and Awaka for a lot of this game. I don't like how that sets up. I actually lean under a little bit and thinking this game might not be that close, / Arizona wanting to keep it as slow, as much of a crawl as possible. Plus they don't shoot threes, but I'll just take Houston as a 4.5 point favorite at home. Big Spen, do you tell us where you're taking with that one?
I'm taking the under. Houston's totally going to shut down a one-dimensional team like Arizona. I think our golden goose, our boy Kingston Flemings is going to have difficult getting by Jaden Bradley, and then scoring in the lane over, 2 bigs on the court at the same time.
Yeah, Koa Pete lost. He's just like Kingston Flemings. I heard you last week too talk about the hometown kid. Copies from Gilbert, Arizona, went to school in Arizona, never left Arizona, is now in Arizona, like top 10 draft pick, probably top 15 pick. It's huge. It's just too big to overcome, I think.
It's crazy how much the national fever around the Darren Peterson stuff has now reached.
Oh yeah, you hit it on the head. You were early. Now this week it's gotten even crazier. Like, do you still pay him? Are they better off without him? Like, it's a whole mess over there.
So for everyone that's not aware, go ahead, break us down on what's the news of Darren Peterson.
Well, he pulled himself out like 3 minutes in the second half versus Oklahoma State. I mean, it wasn't a close game. They were up mid-teens, I think, but he hit a three, turned to Bill Self, and said, "I'm done."
Yeah, he's just chucking threes when he is in there too. It's like not even.
Yeah, it's rec league basketball.
Yeah, you draft him number one. I mean, can you? I don't know.
I mean, you got to think that he's motivated for the $54 million check coming his way, right?
Yeah, next Kawhi Leonard.
Well, and then there's also, I feel like Bill Self is not really, like, this is not his first rodeo. I feel like was it Kevin McCullough who was really, really, like, basically saying, I'm worried about the draft and I'm not worried about playing for your Kansas team after he transferred in conference with Texas Tech. I feel like that was the name. But
he was drafted below Bronny James, I think.
Well, yeah, we know how that goes. Bronny James with his nice 2.0 minutes per game average, not even scoring percentage at USC. Last game on our list, and we'll go to the flag over Big East Ben's handkerchiefed head. We'll go with UConn. They are currently 2-point favorites on the road at Nova. Totals 141. Why is this number so small, Big East Ben?
I said this on the last show. I mean, UConn has been playing with their food up until that St. John's loss. And then they followed that up with a loss at home to a tremendously untalented Creighton team. Like one of the whitest, slowest, like doesn't jump off.
But at least they had Big Cock in the middle, right?
No Big Cock. They said, hey, this is going to be our solution. We're going to go get Owen Freeman, and we're never going to play him. That's going to be our big get in the portal. So, like I said, man, like UConn is in trouble. I feel like now here's the thing: is this the January swoon January swoon of 2023, I believe? Where that like pushed them down to a 4 seed in the tournament. Marquette was a 2 seed that year, no big deal. Beat UConn twice. Or is this like just
5 seed when they beat St. Mary's or 4 seed they beat St. Mary's the 5 and then 1
4 seed they beat Iona, St. Mary's,
and then every against the spread.
Yeah, got Miami and then had to just a cupcake Final Four to deal with.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, Braylon Mullins is awesome, but he hurts them defensively. Alex Karaban, the degradation of this dude has to be studied about like how he is just decelerated every single year. Blake on this. Terrace Reed is foul prone. He's like Samson last year. Rebe has been kind of a bust, the German 7'2" freshman. I think they're overrated. You know who's also overrated? Villanova. I don't know how Villanova still is like winning these games. I think the Val Ackerman, Big East commissioner, the fix to get that Villanova as the third team into the NCAA tournament has worked. They're firmly in the field, whether they win or lose this game. But dude, they should have lost to Marquette. They were down 6 at home with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and Chase Ross said, "Get out of the way, Nigel James. I'm going to win this game for us." And, Marquette gave up a 10-0 run to lose that game. They went to overtime with Xavier on the road at the Cintas Center last time out.
What did Pitino grade his team in that matchup?
He stopped doing that after
after we
Santa Clara game.
Damn, that was like day 2. Okay.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to back UConn here. I think Hurley really just tears into his guys after that Creighton loss. The game's not at the Finn. It's at Wells Fargo or wherever they're calling it this day. That's a totally different situation. Go Huskies.
All right. So just to summarize, Terrace Reed, He's incredibly foul prone. The degradation of Alex Caravan. We don't even know what's going to happen when he's out there. What everyone else, they suck too. But we're going UConn -2 on the road at Abrams Bets.
I'm just saying they're not the. Well, they're down to 13th. Everyone is like putting them as like the 5th national title contender. I don't think they're that, but I think they'll beat Villanova in Philadelphia.
I just remember when they were a 9-point dog in the NCAA tournament to Florida last year, and it was sad to see them go, but it's always nice because good teams win, great teams cover. Abrams Bets, where are you going with this one?
Well, Nova took UConn to overtime in Stores. I think they match up pretty decently. I think the Tuesday. I know that Nova almost lost to Xavier, who's a bad team on Tuesday, but that's like your classic look-ahead spot, and they emerged with a victory in overtime. That's kind of how I was looking at it. And I'll take Villanova at home as a home underdog. I mean, why not? That's what I'm rooting for anyway. So let's just put it on paper.
Let's just go with a heart. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what heart I'm going with because I don't have one. It's dead at this point. But I got to say, Kevin Willard's beard is not really a good looking thing. Is that Big East Ben as Big East Conference flag over your head? Is that like a new style thing? Did he lose a bet? Like what's making him grow that thing out? Because
I think it's part of the heel turn that he undertook last year.
Got it. Because when he decided to go in on his administration for not letting him spend another night in New York with his family, aka his kids, or whatever the basketball team was.
I'm not going to call Kevin an asshole. Newest DraftKings sponsor, John Fanta. I don't know if you guys saw that on
Johnny
Twitter.
Fanta, DraftKings.
Sold a soul.
How does that affect handicapping going forward, Johnny? I promise. He was on Twitter Spaces right now. I'm doing this podcast instead of listening to Fanta talk about how DraftKings is going to change nothing for him. He is still a perfect
it's
person.
really an honor to interview you tonight before this game against USC. I'm so Tom. Listen, I had 6 Happy Meals before I talked to you, and I might have another before the game starts because I am just trying to get as big as I possibly can, and it's amazing. I don't even think they can fit other people on this camera shot. It's incredible. But Tom, I gotta say, it's been a dream of mine to interview in front of this Michigan State thing in the background. I'm so happy to do it. Tom, I don't even remember my question. What's going on?
Hey, if he can get to DraftKings, maybe there's a path.
So can we.
Yeah, baby.
All right. So, Big East Ben, you're 3-1 last 4 since we moved to YouTube. Anything else you want to, I guess, throw out there on this professional audio settings episode of the Ben the Pitch, the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast? Easy for me to say.
I had a fun week. I was in Arizona.
Oh yeah, you need to recap the JT Toppin injury.
Yeah, I saw
Dr.
JT
Ben
Toppin's last college game. Knew immediately it was an ACL. Yeah, man, it's that stadium sucks. It was totally dead. I mean, Texas Tech is now screwed. I mean, they were thin already, but like even if they had Toppin, I would have a lot of concerns with them going into the tournament. They have no idea how to break a press. Like Arizona State wasn't drawing anything up crazy, and they would just pass the ball into corner to Christian Anderson, and it was brutal. So yeah, it sucks about Toppin. Funny, I had a very funny interaction in the ticket line.
Okay.
So I just bought my ticket.
Did you punch a wall?
I did not punch a wall. I did take Texas Tech
I've seen that happen
live
before.
line -3.5 because the stadium was so dead and lost my money. But I'm standing behind a guy probably 6'8", black guy wearing a Marquette sweatshirt, and tap on the shoulder. I'm like, "Hey, dude, did you play for MU?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Trend." And I thought he said Trent. And I'm like, "Blackwell?" And he goes, "Black Ledge." I was thinking of John Blackwell. And then I'm like, I don't know, John Blackwell's name. And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, you transferred from Arizona State. That's why you're here." He's like, "No, I didn't." He played for Marquette 20 years ago. Under Crean, he averaged 2.5 points per game. I was thinking of Trent Lockett, who played for Buzz 3 years ago. He was a transfer from Arizona State. Trent. But Trent Blackledge, total dickhead, just totally dismissive. How about saying like, "Hey, that's pretty impressive. You knew half of my name, despite the fact that I only averaged 2.8 points per game 20 years ago. And it's totally okay. I totally understand why you would get why would you get someone with a similar name that averaged 6 points 15 years ago? You really know ball and are a big fan of the program. So anyway, that was my
Credit to you, Big East Ben. You know ball for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Credit to you. Yeah, you were right there.
That was my big college basketball adventure of the week. But best bet for tonight?
No, not ready for it yet. I just
Okay.
want to recap what happened. So Big East Ben sending a video of the curtain of distraction after a
Oh, totally weak. Like, yeah, it's
after a
it's
who's
sad
who,
state of affairs.
a photo shot of who's who of the Arizona State basketball program, of which we could name Sean Marion, and that's about, and Jason Terry,
Jason Terry was there.
even though he's not an Arizona State guy, I guess. But
James Harden.
all I know, yeah, James Harden has things to do, and then at a nice little 11:56 local time, Central Time. Well, Toppin's done for the year, so
Yeah.
there we go.
And also the old guy next to me, really nice guy, Arizona State season ticket holder. He's like, this win might save Hurley's job. I'm like, time to get you to bed, Grandpa.
Enjoy this one, Trent. Okay. At Big East Ben, you're the hottest one on the show. So let's go 3-1 last four. Your best bet for this episode is
So I'm fading my national title pick to begin the season. Oregon, maybe the worst Power Six team in the country, visits USC. I have no idea what's going on this line. USC is -6. They will be without, looks like, Chad Baker-Mazara. A. Brooks, I'm surprised you didn't add Chad Baker-Mazara first half against Florida to one of the best athletic performances you've ever seen in person. But yeah, USC coming off an absolute demolition against Illinois. Currently, they're the last team in the field for, according to Joe Lunardi. Elijah Arenas, Gilbert Arenas' son, has been playing great. I think
Awesome.
you'll see a very focused USC team at home that will take care of business against an Oregon team who just put up 44 points at home against Minnesota, who played 6 guys. And I'm not even sure all 6 guys have a scholarship. Fight on. Go Trojans.
USC -6 for Big East Ben. A. Brooks bets. Where would you like to go? If you want to do a money line parlay, you can, but that's a little bit different than the norm.
Yeah, I'm going.
That would connect with our audience, who always just tweets me parlays and advice.
Well,
I'm going back home, G. Texas has won 5 in a row. They're the 6th best team in the country on offense. They get to the rack and they get fouled more than any team in the country. They're going on the road at Georgia, 2.5-point underdogs. They will lose to Georgia. Georgia will cover that.
Oh!
This is where it ends. I have to. I knew that. I looked at this schedule a month ago and I thought they're going to win these 5 games in a row and people are going to be high on Texas. And here we are. A lot of mid-range game stuff. That's, I think, the most inconsistent thing on the road. I'm gonna, I'll be rooting, but only with my heart. My wallet will be in Athens, Georgia.
We'll give you -2 actually on this one. So for my best bet, we're going to another home away from home, at least for someone on this podcast, especially. Thank you for joining us on tonight's episode of the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast. I'm going with Syracuse, pick 'em right now at home to North Carolina. Don't know that I believe it. Don't really want much to do with Red Autry. Really look forward to him in the nursing home, or I don't know, being the player of personnel operations at the Washington Wizards next stop, or wherever the heck he goes. But until then, no Caleb Wilson. I'll go Syracuse, a pick 'em on this episode of the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast, presented to you
Worst away
by
from
nobody.
home. Worst away from home team, according to Haslametrics,
Is
UNC.
North Carolina.
Yep.
Well, with their coach, who, if I remember, we had a really good friend of ours named, whose name shall not be mentioned, who immediately was all about the Hubie hire way back when, and then all of a sudden said, "I'm not about the Hubie hire," and has been the loudest, like smattering whatever person to try to get him out. Do we think that a simple last-second victory in a game that they did not deserve against Duke will keep Hubie Davis in that job for a long time? Hubert Davis, the head coach of North Carolina?
Yeah, I was thinking of Hubert. I'm sorry, I got my Hubies mixed up.
There's 2 that I can think of. Is Hubie Brown still alive? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know. He was doing games not too long ago.
Still alive. It says is
He'll
92
get
years.
another year. And also, you failed to mention that Davis, I think, wanted Jerry Stackhouse instead of Hubert Davis.
Yeah, he wanted his suits on the sideline. I didn't want to mention him just in case he listened. He probably doesn't. He's probably still in that Motel 6 in Nashville with his kid, dog, and wife. So we'll see what happens. A Brooks Betts, thanks for joining us as well. We'll get this out there on all the channels, and we'll see if we can get a baseball podcast going this season. We'll be back with you next week on the Need for Speed College Basketball podcast presented to you by nobody, and we'll see you next time.